Living with roommates can be a whole new experience for when you're first coming to college. This is the first time you'll be living with a complete stranger. You could end up living with your best friend, somebody you get along with, somebody that understands you and gets you all levels. Or you could be living with the roommate from hell, somebody who's the complete opposite of you. Today I'm here to inform you about the do's and don'ts of having college roommates. We will talk about some necessary things you should establish with your roommates and some things you should avoid at all costs. I'm going to give you some tips on how to live happier with your roommate through facts, personal experiences, and my own testimony. Going to meals together is a great way to bond with your roommate. Going out together and eating together is a really good way to start opening up to your roommate. It allows you guys to talk about little things, but also get into really serious things. There are a million things you can talk about. And if you think things might get awkward, bring a friend with you. It might lighten the mood. And also, more friends. Who doesn't want more friends? Shizer, a professor, wrote an article called The Life in College, The Do's and Don'ts of Roommates. He says, one of the best ways to get to know your roommate is to just go eat in the cafeteria with others on the floor. If you're a quiet person or things just get awkward, being with other students means less pressure to talk to all of them. Something that you and your roommate should talk about before getting settled in your room is about personal habits or pet peeves that you both have. For example, when I was a freshman in college, I lived in a triple, so I lived with 2 other people. None of us really talked before we actually got into our room, so I lived with complete strangers. But we came to realize that one of our roommates was a complete neat freak. She always wanted everything clean, no matter if it was a little piece of dust on the floor, or a little piece of dust on our table, or a piece of trash on the floor. She wanted everything spotless at all times. This led to unnecessary arguments, fighting in the room, and so much tension. So we had to just sit down and talk about this whole thing and hash out all our feelings about what we didn't want us to do and what our pet peeves were between all 3 of us. Communication is key with college roommates. Letting them know up front about your thoughts and your concerns could be a whole lot better than learning them down the line. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a past. And sometimes issues run deeper than you seem. When I took a listen to a roommate's difficult family situation, my sympathy and my patience for her increased greatly. Langley, who wrote Life in College, How to Avoid Roommate Disasters, said that article. Being able to talk to your roommate about your concerns, even in life, what may be going on in your life, is always good and will always make you bond closer together. For example, if something happens in your family and you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, you should always be able to go to your roommates. Your roommates will be able to console with you and help you through the situation you're in. Another tip that might be obvious but still needs to be addressed is don't use your roommate's stuff without their permission. Using your roommate's things is a complete invasion of privacy and is a big no. This stranger trusts you with his or her things. Why would you want to disrespect them like that? For example, if you were going to a soccer game with your friends on the floor and you didn't have cleats and you knew the field was going to be muddy and it was going to be dirty, and you see your roommate has some cleats and they looked a little dirty, don't take your roommate's cleats and go play soccer with them. That's complete disrespect to their cleats and to their stuff. And I don't think things will be going well with you for the rest of the year. Lucier says, from 10 tips for getting along with your college roommate, for all of you know, you just stepped over an uncrossable line. Don't borrow, use, or take anything without getting permission first. I find this as one of the most important rules because as a college freshman, when I was in college, my stuff was very important, and living with 2 other people kind of freaked me out. So the trust I had with them with my stuff was very big. The last main point I want to make is most importantly, remember to pray with your college roommates. I know some college roommates might not be Christian or anything like that, but still, my freshman year, my roommates were all Christians. And honestly, they were my best friends to this day. Even though we all live in separate states, one of my roommates lives in Utah, one of them lives in Phoenix, and I live here. My mom used to tell me all the time that she used to pray for me to have good college roommates so that I wouldn't have any problems. And turns out my other roommates' parents would pray for that too. Mo Zane, a professor who wrote Campus Life, Christian College Guide, All Studies and No Fun, said, "Give all your concerns to God and trust in Him to make everything come together. His word tells you not to be anxious about anything, but everything by prayer and petition. With thanksgiving, present your respect to God." My roommates and I took prayer very seriously. When things weren't going right with us, we would all sit together and pray because we believed in the power of prayer. If one of us knew we had a test the next day and we said we needed some prayer, we all just sat around and prayed for a little bit, and we all prayed for our grades and stuff. And it really helped us through trials that we were facing. We live in a Christian environment at APU. So don't be afraid to ask your roommates or even your floor friends for help with praying. Because in the end, you and your roommates will be completely blessed. Trust me. In conclusion, communication, getting food with your roommate, treating each other with respect, and prayer is the key to having a successful relationship with your roommate. The purpose of my speech today was to inform you on some of the important do's and don'ts of living with your first college roommate. My goal for you today is to take some tips and apply it to your personal lives, in hopes that the relationship will grow and get stronger throughout this year. Washington mentions Washington State College mentions, whether you like it or not, treat your roommate with consideration that you'd like to be treated with. Set an example with any luck, your roommate will catch on. Thank you.